The Arizona Lacrosse League welcomes you in to Arcadia High School at the base of Camelback Mountain in the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game on APN Sports. I'm Jeff Lowry. Well, the temperature today a little bit warm on this Saturday 10 a.m. scheduled start time, and we have assembled, I think, truly one of the most talented all-star groups in league history, no question about it. We had a great season. We had a lot of great parity. We saw teams coming up from Division II to Division I play with tremendous success, like Glendale and Pinnacle, and the host team here, Arcadia. And congratulations to Notre Dame on a state championship as they completed a undefeated 15-0 season with that stunning victory here a week ago on this very field in the Division I championship. Mountain Ridge, the Division II champions, and boy, what a game they had against Oro Valley. As you get a look at Dan Lannon, the head coach of the South All-Stars, of course, league president, and two-time championship coach with Desert Vista. So we're just moments away from the opening face-off. There's a couple of the stars from Notre Dame, Chaparral. They're all being represented here today. Luke LeBate, number 23. And when we come back, all the exciting play-by-play action. This is APN Video Sports. El Remo Montalbano assisting Dan Lannon, Tice Thies. I don't think there's really an official head coach out here. I saw Bo Peck, and of course the coach of the year, Steve Weiss, Chuck Rulin. Let's take a look at the rosters. We start with the South. And at attack, led by Jackson McKinney, who was up for an MVP or Offensive Player of the Year honors before he got hurt. J.J. Rose leads the midfielders. He was the Offensive Player of the Year in the league. And Max Manka out of South Point led the state in both ground balls and face-off wins. On defense, you got Bailey Willauer, also with South Point, hard hitter, Kevin Royal, Desert Vista, Trevor Noble, and Marcus Fostick, who had a big year. Bryce Palmer leads the goalies. He'll get the start for the South as they are represented by the teams on the left. And a look at Braden Tavritsky, who was the goalie of the year, and rightly so. And, of course, there's Bryce Palmer out of the Perry Pumas, who had a good turnaround season. And that's a program that a lot of people feel is on the uprise, led by Tice Thiessen, who was with the Hamilton program for so long. So the North will come out. They are in the white tops. The red tops represent the South. We're just underway. Opening face-off belongs to the North. And Will Lynch from the state champion Notre Dame Saints pulls the trigger on the first shot of the game and comes up empty-handed. Good job by the North backing up the play. No score, we're just underway. I'll give you the starters here in a moment. Here's the Dodge. Here's the North. Trying to get on the board first, and they do. Well, a tremendous dodge that time by Arcadia's J.D. Van Arsdale. And it is 1-0 with 11:28 left to go here in favor of the North All-Stars. And let's take a look at their team. Doug Lipka, the head coach. Big year for Will Lynch and the champions. James Traxler and Alex Lesher. Probably second and third in offensive player nominees this year. Of course, J.J. Rose won the Offensive Player of the Year. Quinn Stanton, a tremendous year at Notre Dame. Joe Van Ribbink, one of the best players in the state. And then on defense, you got Luke Van Ribbink from Brophy. Luke LeBate had a big season with Chaparral, but what a year for Ryan Poteet and Grant Hushik. And the goalies led by the goalie of the year, Braden Tavritsky. And then you got Marcus Comences, who was up for that award also, and Joe Cantaneo. So a 1-0 lead here as the North draws first blood in this contest. J.D. Van Arsdale scoring. In our second face-off of the contest. And this time it's going to be a win for the South. So a good job by J.J. Rose, who had another outstanding year. Started last year for Dan Lannon, the team that went to the finals, and had a tremendous sophomore season and followed up with the Offensive Player of the Year. And I don't think you can go wrong with that pick, but I think obviously James Traxler of Notre Dame was worthy of that award, and I think there's an argument for Lesher at Brophy. I think sometimes Offensive Player of the Year can be confused with MVP. And I think James Traxler may have been the most valuable player this year in the league. And I think Max Mank is another one that would definitely be up there along with Joe Van Ribbing. 1-0 North All-Stars here in the first, but we had a lot of parity. I think this year, Offensive Player of the Year, that was a tough decision because there were, like I said, there was probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 guys in the hunt for that. It was a very close race, and Rose won it. But doesn't get the ground ball here, but instead the South will get it nonetheless. They'll try to work it out of X. South with the possession, and they trail it by a score of 1-0. You're watching the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League on APN Sports and our 2017 All-Star Game. Rose trying to create up top. Work it over to the wing. And here comes a strong dodge, and I don't know if that was a pass or a shot. I'm sure it was a shot. Turned away by good North defense. And a good clear by the North All-Stars, led by the Notre Dame Prep. And here's a big right hand, no good. One nothing in favor of the North All-Stars. Here's Will Lynch, a second-team All-Stater, and he finds the back of the cage with a blistering shot that gives the North an early 2-0 lead. This one comes with a 9:20 left to go here. So a 2-0 lead thanks to Will Lynch, second-team All-State out of Notre Dame Prep. Congratulations goes out. This is our third face-off of the day. South had it, now the North corrals it. So a pretty good ball there by Quinn Stanton, but then he loses it. Most valuable player on his team, even though James Traxler was the offensive player on his own team and could have also been the league offensive player of the year. He led the conference in assists this year and was right up there in total points. So a nice clear on the counter by Jake Smith, as the North leads it by a score of 2-0 here in quarter number 1. This 2017 ALL All-Star Game. As the ball is corralled up top, and now the North trying to add on to a 2-0 lead. They work it to the pipe. High shot, high pass, out of play. There'll be a turnover time. Give it back to the sub, who trail it 2-0 here. First quarter action inside 8 minutes.
All-Stars on defense, Luke Van Ribbing got the start. Aaron Cormatic and Zach Siegel. Arcadia midfielder J.D. Van Arsdale, Joe Van Ribbing, and Ryan Poutine. Midfielders for the North, James Traxler, Lofton, Arcadia, and of course Jacob Schritzville, Pinnacle along with Tam Princeton. And O'Neill has just put the third goal into the back of the cage, and it's 3-0 in favor.
7:33.
The South came out with the starting lineup, the attack, Parker Harris, Dane Hiddle, Ben DeValle, midfield, J.J. Rose, Max Manka, and Ben Macy. Boston Pasha and Escobedo, along with Palmer and Gold on the defense. There's a good face-off right here for the South All-Stars.
So a 3-0 lead here for the North All-Stars. And let's see if the South All-Stars can get on the board here. J.J. Rose putting it into the offensive half. Slowing things down on this very warm Saturday morning for the Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star game. Good defense there. Good defense by the North. Ground ball picked up there by J.J. Rose, the Offensive Player of the Year for Desert Vista. He moves right, looking to move left and take the left-handed shot. Bounces it up there. It was turned away by Tavritsky. An outstanding save on a weak shot. And they battle into X in a 3-0 lead here for the North. And the North All-Stars will have the possession, and Tavritsky will most likely try to clear it. He will lead it up ahead, and the Notre Dame Saints. What a tremendous year for this team. Blake Story with the possession. Get over his teammate Quentin Stanton. I think Stanton, one of the most valuable players this year. He takes a shot turned away by Bryce Palmer. And now the 50-50 ground ball to the near side. Let's see who picks this one up, as the North All-Stars in the white uniforms lead it 3-0. Check that. Will Lynch, second team All-State. Another big ground ball here for the North All-Stars. They keep it alive. Like Story, number 21, up top to Jake Smith. And all out of Notre Dame. He pulls the trigger, and Palmer turns him away. Well, an outstanding save that time by the South goalie. South now pushes it into transition. They'll get it into the box, but a pair of Saints, in fact, a trio of Saints, breaks that one up. And the 50-50 ball is going to be corralled by who? And looked like Ryan Poteet may have tried to, or rather Zach Siegel, the sophomore sensation. And now the ground ball is picked up, and the numbers in favor of the North All-Stars, and a little pipe city on that last shot. South has it. They'll bring it into the offensive half. Here they come, and looking for their first score, and this one is going to be out of play. It's going to be North possession with a 3-0 lead by the North in this 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star game. Now the North race into the offensive half. This is McNeil. Working around Grant Lofton, who had a great season for Arcadia this year, one of the great senior lacrosse players, but they throw it away, and this will be a turnover and give it back to the South All-Stars, who trail it 3-0 here. Loose ball, far side. Excellent ground ball there. And here comes the South All-Stars. Good poke check there. J.J. Rose slips it by Tavritsky. And with 4:06 left to go here, 3-1 in favor of Desert Vista. J.J. Rose scoring to finally get the South All-Stars up on the board. Another face-off, and it is going to be a win here for the South All-Stars. So a nice play there by, I didn't quite catch the number there. That's 22, and that's Mark O'Neill out of Corona del Sol, who did a great job in face-off X and was the most valuable player for Remo Montalbano's team. That noise you're hearing in the background, there's not a whole lot we can do about it. There is a huge buzzing noise coming from both speakers that are to the left and to the right of us. Grant Lofton trying to make a one-handed grab in the pipe, and that one's out of play. No surprise that that's still North's possession, as they lead at 3-1 here as we're approaching the 3-minute mark, and McNeil scores for the second time. Patrick McNeil, what a tremendous season, a tremendous career over at Brophy with the Broncos, and he has scored 2 of the last 3. And the outstanding midfielder who finished second team All-State has given his team a 4-1 lead. The North leads it. And a ground ball by J.D. Van Arsdale, who scored the game's first goal all the way back at the 11:28 mark here in the first. There's a takeaway on the far side. Excellent defense by the South. Jake Rodriguez out of Desert Vista on the takeaway back on the other end. And a missed shot here for the South as they try to get it back to a 2-point game. They trailed 4-1. South in possession. We're in the first quarter of the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game on APN Sports. Our game time temperature right around 90 degrees. It is a very, very warm morning. That's why this game was originally supposed to be played last night, and then for some reason, we didn't get a clarification from Dan Lannon, it was played rescheduled for this Saturday morning. And the North comes up with a ground ball. That's a good GB over there. Force it down the alley. And a takeaway for the South. And here they come. They need some points. Trailing 4-1 here in the first quarter. Centering pass, high shot, no. Taken by Cade Kaiser out of South Point. And a tremendous year for the Lancers, led by Kevin Krieger. Krieger, who played for Air Force, also played for Dave Henning over at Chandler. Here's another shot, and this one's left a little bit high. 4-1 North. We're in the first. South on the restart. Talon Perkins whips one in there, no good. Check that. That was Will Offerman of Sabino. And another fine save by Tavritsky. And so now Pinnacle getting the save, and on the other end, Will Lynch does what he does so well with a big left, that dominant big left. Lynch with his second goal here in quarter number 1 extends the North lead to 5-1. That comes with 1 minute and 21 seconds left to play here. And a face-off win here for the North. Excellent job, and a big left hand from way out top. And the score. And the North continues to be impressive. That's Alex Lesher, who is a candidate for our APN Most Valuable Player Award this year with 1 minute and 11 seconds left to go. And it's now a 6-1 ball game in favor of the North All-Stars that come out in the white uniforms. Ground ball picked up by Notre Dame's one of their outstanding players in Jake Smith. Alex Lesher, who scored just a moment ago from the Brophy Broncos, a 13-2 team that went to the finals. It's the 7th time that a Bow-Pick team went to the finals, and Grant Lofton puts one in the back of the cage. Lofton's first goal in this 2017 All-Star game comes with 41 seconds left to go here in quarter number 1, and it's 7-1. So that is now 4 in a row by the North All-Stars, and a face-off win for the South. And they'll take the shot. And that one was broken up out front. Good defense. Tavritsky out of Pinnacle will take care of business and try to clear it out for the South All-Stars. They need some points here as they trail 7-1. The clear comes up, and this is McNeil. Excellent job. Good ball rotation. Get it into the pipe. Out front. Here's the shot. And Lynch was a little wide at the end of quarter number 1. It's all North All-Stars. They lead at 7-1. This is APN Video Sports in the Arizona Lacrosse League. Hey, getting a look at Camelback Mountain on this very warm day here in mid-May, and we're getting set for the second quarter of this 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game. Jeff Lowry with you from apnvideo.com. Our final broadcast of the year, and a face-off win for the South. Turn it over, give it right back to the North, and the sophomore out of Notre Dame Prep will try to clear it. Lead pass up ahead, good job to Lesher. Lesher loses his balance. He slipped and fell, and a big GB here for the South, and here they come. So the South All-Stars. Good job by Elijah DeHaan out of South Point Lancers, Kevin Krieger's team. Of course, Kevin Krieger, congratulations to him for the Billy Lloyd Award winner this year. That goes to the outstanding contributor by an Arizona lacrosse player, a former Arizona lacrosse player. And Siegel will clear it here for the Notre Dame Saints. 6-1 is our score. We're in the early stages of quarter number 2 in this Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game. Get it over to Grant Lofton. He'll work at goal line extended right. Now the dodge. Traxler finds Lofton, and he blasts one through. Good rip. Makes it 7-1 in favor of the North, and a good feed from truly one of the top players in the state of Arizona, and Notre Dame Saints attackman James Traxler, who could have also, who was very close to winning that Offensive Player of the Year. I think if we had a most valuable player, and I'm not going to throw the defensive players in on this conversation, and there's a couple of guys that would be up for that award on defense, but I think if there was a most valuable player this year, you know, along with J.J. Rose, I think you'd have to throw maybe the top 5 the year that Alex Lesher had. Joe Van Ribbink may even be higher on the list, possibly. That's awfully close. If McKinney down at South Point hadn't gotten hurt, who knows? You know, who knows where South Point, they might have been in that state championship game. They were missing a couple of players in that game. But obviously, James Traxler had to be up there. And Luke LeBaint, did he get it through? No. And the save by Palmer. Actually, that might be Cameron Noble, who Cameron Noble has checked into the game as the goalie for the South All-Stars. And he is a Division II player. So we do have, I think we do have a couple of Division II players in today's contest. Well, it's all North here in the second quarter, 7-1. But it was a great season, I think, for the league, because we saw some tremendous parity. We saw teams that made the jump from Division II to Division I and had success. Pinnacle was a tough team to play. I know they only won 3 or 4 games this year, but they gave some fits to some pretty good teams, including Notre Dame. They were leading going into the second half of that game and played very competitively. Arcadia had a very nice year, making the jump from Division II, where they were in the state championship game a year ago. And they're under some good leadership with Steve Weiss. Pinnacle under the first-year head coach from Sabino, Chuck Rulin, and of course Ben Jones, also the brain trust at Pinnacle. Our good friend Bill Casey over at Glendale. As the South trying to cut into a 6-point deficit here. And this ground ball is going to be corralled by the South, who trail 7-1 here in quarter number 2. Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game. Out front, that was a good opportunity. And with 8 minutes and 13 seconds, they got the right score up on the board. And the South All-Stars look to clear. course, you talk about Notre Dame winning the state championship and that stunning victory here at Arcadia last Friday night over Brophy, 11-10. It came down to a final shot by Jack Clark. It was about 10 yards away from the goal with time expiring, and Marcus Comences with a tremendous save, and that secured Notre Dame's first ever Division I state championship. They won a Division II championship back in 2011. Here it's 7-1 North. They're in the white tops. South with the red. And here's a shot taken. That one's going to be wide. Tavritsky still in at goal for the North All-Stars. Nice looking move out front, and unable to finish was the South All-Stars, and taking that last shot was Talon Perkins, one of the great Gilbert Tigers. Part of that state championship team a year ago when Gilbert defeated Desert Vista and ruined their chance for a three-peat, and another great game, another great championship game. Of course, Dan Lannon's team won it in 2014 and 2015, and those were two one-sided games. Those were two of the great teams, I think, in league history. Dan Lannon's Desert Vista Thunder in 2014 and 15 championships. They had been to the state title 4 years in a row until they got knocked out of the semifinals with a 17-12 loss at the eventual Notre Dame Saints. 7-1 North All-Stars. Good poke check there, but end result, the North looking to score here. Van Arsdale, he got the game's first goal, and this is a takeaway if they can finally corral it. That ball loose in the alley on the far side. McNeil battling over there. And eventually the South All-Stars and James Traxler comes up with a GB. Traxler working out of X. And I don't know what happened there. He lost it. And so Mountain Point's Cameron Noble will try to clear it out. He does. Lead it up ahead. Trey Bussler out of Corona del Sol with the touch. And it's still 7-1 in favor of the North All-Stars. And right now, if you're the South and you have any intentions of getting back into this game, you've got to cut this deficit down quite a bit here in the second quarter. Here's a shot, and Tavritsky once again coming up with a save. He's a tough nut to crack. The North goalie playing for Pinnacle, Chuck Rulin and Ben Jones. I'll tell you, this North All-Star team is pretty stacked, but scoring is J.J. Rose, and he has accounted for both South All-Star goals, and it's now 7-2. And let's see if the South can gain a little momentum after the J.J. Rose, who was the Offensive Player of the Year in 2017 in the Arizona Lacrosse League. Well, a special thanks to Dan Lannon and the Arizona Lacrosse League for allowing us to be a big part of the 2017 season. It's certainly been our pleasure bringing these games to you. And I'll tell you, the two state championship games, Mountain Ridge, Oro Valley. Of course, Mountain Ridge won that one, a one-point affair in overtime. And then to follow that up with that great game between Brophy and Notre Dame, in which Notre Dame won their first Division I title. It was a great year for Bo Pick and a 13-2 season for a Brophy team that many thought at the beginning of the year had a really good chance to take it all, and they pushed the Notre Dame Saints to right there at the end. They had a chance to tie it with 1 second left to go. Swimming through the defense and finding the promised land for the North All-Stars on really a beautiful move. And that's Jacob Shripsema, one of the best offensive players, one of the top, I think, one of the top scorers in the league, and a young man that has just given his team an 8-2 advantage here with 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go here in the first half. Here's a shot, big left hand. And going top shelf this time, and the South is back on the board again, Talon Perkins. So Perkins has his first score of the game, and that makes it 8-3. The largest lead of the game so far has been 6. The North has led 7-1 and 8-2. So Perkins scores. That's his first goal of the contest. And a face-off win. Grant Lofton taking it all the way, and he goes with the bottom shelf. Try to go bottom shelf with that one. Now the dodge. Blake Story had a great year for Notre Dame as they went undefeated, 15-0. Lofton again, turned away there. Good job by Cameron Noble, and he followed that ball all the way to his cage. Or all the way to the face. Good job by the South. Kate Kaiser wearing number 24 out of play. So a turnover here, and the North All-Stars will clear it out. So the clear belongs to the North. 17, Trevor Kwan out of Glendale. Did a nice job on that long pass, corralling that one. And now Will Lynch returns to the lineup. The big left-handed shot of Will Lynch. He was one of the top scorers in the state. This is a guy that could easily win a scoring title, but fortunately for him, he was playing on a team that had probably 7 guys that could get the job done offensively, and he had to share some of that well. If he's playing for most teams, Will Lynch is a scoring champion this year. South trying to cut into a 5-goal lead. They have trailed by as many as 6 on 2 occasions. Perkins, and not sure what that was. Maybe the old wraparound shot, and Tavritsky, the goalie, racing out to the alley to pick that one up, and now looking for an outlet. Good defense that time. I believe that might have been Will Offerman over there. And now the shot, bottom shelf, and Patrick McNeil has the hat trick. As the North All-Stars now lead it by a score of 9-3, 1 minute and 56 seconds left to go here in the first half. We give some credit to Tavritsky down on the other end, the goalie, for not panicking. He was under heavy duress. Lesher will win the face-off here. Bring it into the offensive half. Swims through a defender and finds the back of the cage with a blistering left hand. Lesher scores his second, and the Brophy Broncos well represented in this 2017 All-Star game, and with 1:41 left to go, it is now a 10-3 advantage. The largest lead of the contest so far for the North All-Stars, and it is 7. Yeah, we're going to get a false start here. Illegal procedure, I should say. A false start. That's a football term. And Max Manka, who has it from the South Point Lancers, and what a season Max Manka had. I mean, if there was an MVP award, I mean, you'd have to give him a strong consideration. Where would South Point have been without his overwhelming face-off wins and ground balls? And a lot can be said about that. It's not always about the scoring, it's about what leads up to a score. Nice clear, Tavritsky up ahead. Kate Bluen wearing number 12. What a great career he had at Chaparral. He too, a MVP candidate this year. I know we don't have an MVP. They only do the offense and defensive players of the year, but Kate Bluen, who's in possession with it. Looking to dodge. One to come back with the right hand. Finds the open man in the pipe. And the finish wasn't quite there. James Traxler tried to spin and shoot with the left hand. Turned away by a young man who's played very well in goal here in quarter number 2 in Cameron Noble. Loose ball. Luke LeBate getting physical. And Bluen with a behind-the-back pass up to Grant Lofton. Lofton finds a man out front. It skips out. That looked like a goal. Tommy Delario out of Boulder Creek. And I'd like to see that one again on the replay. That looked like that broke the plane. And that's the end of the first half. With the score, it's all North. Excuse me, they lead it 10-3. This is the Arizona Lacrosse League on APN Video Sports. 10-3 North. Second half coming up next. Now we're back here. Beautiful Arcadia High School. Little historic stadium here. Our broadcast area as Rose comes up with a ground ball. And the South will have it as they trail by 7 here. Rose with 2 goals to lead the South. He has scored 2 of the 3, with Perkins scoring the other. North All-Stars led 6-1 after 1 period of play, and then outscored the South 4-2 in the second to lead 10-3 at the half. Another good save there, and the battle, goal line extended right, and it's finally picked up there by one of the great Notre Dame players, and Marcus Comensees. Here's the clear. J.D. Van Arsdale out of Arcadia. He had the big rip at the 11:28 mark in quarter number 1, scoring the game's first goal. And the North in possession, leading 10-3. Patient on the offense, and the high shot as Lesher came out of goal line extended and took the shot and left it high. So a 10-3 advantage. North All-Stars in possession. Traxler turns his defender around. And now the North All-Stars slowing things down, and now the hidden ball trick. And it's the young man on the right here taking it in, and a good job on the defensive side breaking that one up. And the shot is no good. And that one was turned away by Ryan Henshaw, who is now in at goal for the South. Josh Escobedo made a big play on that last possession down on the other end. And now Marcus Comensees will clear it out for the North All-Stars, who lead at 10-3 here in the early stages of quarter number 3. Well, the Team Sportsmanship Award was awarded to Corona del Sol. The Bob Scott Award was awarded to Bryce Palmer. Our official of the year was Cole Day. And our Coach of the Year, Steve Weiss. The Billy Lloyd Award goes to Kevin Krieger. And the Offensive Player of the Year, J.J. Rose of Desert Vista. Defensive Player, Luke Van Ribbeck. And we were talking about some of the MVP candidates if we had an MVP award, and it would be tough. It would really be tough to single out one guy. I mean, I think there are 5 or 6 guys who are pretty close to one another in that argument. So a 10-3 advantage here. North All-Stars. And this time they're going to get the score. Way out front, Grant Lofton, whose younger brother I thought had an outstanding season for Arcadia. That's Grant's second goal of the day. This comes with 8 minutes and 35 seconds left to go here in quarter number 3. And they continue to add on to their largest lead. It is now 8 at 11-3. So Grant Lofton of Arcadia scoring for the second time. Ground ball win, and this time it belongs to Jake Rodriguez of the South, but then it's taken away. And Blake Story will send it over, get it back up top. Cade Bluen has it. Bluen, a 3-year starter with the Chaparral Firebirds, going down as one of their all-time leading scorers and one of the great players in Chaparral history. And when you talk about Chaparral, they are the winningest team. Most wins by any program and most championships with 7, and the most championship game appearances with 12. And you're talking about when you're one of the all-time greats at Chaparral, that's saying something. Well, the wind really starting to pick up now in this 10-3 game, and unable to make the play. It's going to go out of bounds, and that'll be a turnover as Andrew Basha couldn't quite corral it for the South All-Stars. Quinn Stanton, who was an honorable mention. I was a little surprised. I thought Quinn Stanton was, to be honest, I thought was really in line for, maybe a midfielder, maybe one of the top midfielders in the state. And certainly sometimes you look at the way that the success of that Notre Dame team, and I thought Quinn Stanton at times, he might have been the most valuable player. In fact, he was voted the most valuable player on the Notre Dame Saints within their own team. And a nice-looking shot there. Cade Bluen hits the back of the net with a big Rip City, and he's on the board for the first time, and the North now leads it 12-3 with 6 minutes and 15 seconds, and we're in a continuous clock.
Cade.
So Cade Bluen scoring. He was really a true pleasure to watch over the last 3 seasons. Manka. Man, I tell you, I love watching this young man play. Great pass in the pipe and turned away. Coleman sees, and out front was Jake Smith. Good defense by the North All-Stars, who lead at 12-3. Ground ball North. Zaman Williams, excellent job. He's trying to clear it and going through 3 defenders, quickly get it over to Quinn Stanton. 12-3 lead for the North. We're in the third quarter, and we got a running clock in the making here. Stanton, Notre Dame, and a tremendous year for this young man in his junior season. And he's going to be one of the heart and soul players of that Notre Dame team next year, and everybody's going to be gunning for Doug Lepka's team, no question about it. Good check there by Lesher. And Max Manka, you can see why he is such a valuable weapon for Sal Point. Shot no good. And the score remains the North in the white 12, South in the red 3. This is the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game. Wraparound shot. Yeah, a little more liberty given to these guys. I mean, for the most part, I think most of the teams they play with good discipline, shot discipline for the most part, but you don't see those behind the head or behind the back shots like we've seen on a couple occasions today. JJ going for his third goal, can't get it. Turned away by Coleman Seas, and a nice lead pass up ahead. In transition, and Patrick McNeil, and the second pass and the score as Will Lynch finds his teammate. And that's James Traxler, who scores for the Notre Dame Saints. And the North All-Stars now lead it by a score of 13-3 with 3 minutes and 18 seconds left to play here in the third quarter. So Traxler on an assist play from Will Lynch. Usually it's the other way around. Will Lynch with that powerful left hand. He and Jacob Shripsema may have the 2 fastest left-handed shots in the state. Now, I mean, there's no scientific proof to that, but Jacob Shripsema is with Pinnacle, wears number 18 for the North. Just had a great season for Ben Jones and Chuck Rulin up at Pinnacle. They battle for the ground ball and lead it up to Luke LeBate. He did a lot of this on defense this year for the Chaparral Firebirds under first-year head coach Carmen Cavolo. North All-Stars keep it alive. And now teammate of Luke LeBate, Cade Bluen, with 2 minutes left to go here in the third quarter. Trying to get the right personnel in here. Cade Bluen. See if he's going to move this over to X or he's going to hand this one off to McNeil. Patrick McNeil, rather, this is Alex Lesher, same team, Brophy Broncos. Lesher trying to clear that left hand. His shot turned away. And a pretty good save that time by Corona del Sol Aztec Ryan Henshaw. But then they throw it away. Lynch looking past first as the ball comes loose. Quinn Stanton, the second leader in ground balls this year in the Arizona Lacrosse League, has the big GB on the far side. North up by 10. We're coming up on the 1 minute mark here in quarter number 3. Cade Bluen looking for a pass. He gets it into the pipe and between the leg shot. Don't see that very often. Will Lynch being creative, but he was wide to the right of the cage. So a nice job by Ryan Henshaw. And this time the bounce goes into the back of the cage. A little bounce feed into the back of the cage. And Alex Lesher has scored for the third time. So he's got a hattie, and I've got it 14-3. I think the scoreboard is off 1 point here. So 14-3 is the score. And you're watching the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game on apnvideo.com. And just a reminder, you can go to apnvideo.com for all of the Arizona Lacrosse League games. We are heading to quarter number 4. Coming to you from Pinnacle High School, Doug Lipka in the foreground there, along with Rudlin to the left, Bo Pick on the right. A tremendous season for Notre Dame and the Brophy Broncos. As we go to the fourth period of play, it is actually 14-3. Now we head now to the fourth and what will be the final quarter. North leads it by a score of 13-0. 3 goals by McNeil, 3 goals by Lesher, both representing the Brophy Broncos. And the North, who got out to a 3-0 lead to start the game. They led 6-1 after 1 quarter of play. At the half, they led 10-3, and in quarter number 3, they outscored the South 4-0 to expand the lead to 14-3. So we're ready for the fourth quarter. We have not seen a penalty so far here today, and that's to be expected in an all-star game. Well, I don't think there's any doubt about it. This is really one of the most talented ensembles at the Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game that we have had in several years. I really believe that. And again, we had a tremendous season in Arizona high school lacrosse. I think across the board, the league maybe not quite as top-heavy as it used to be, and I don't think that's necessarily good for the league. I like the parity. I like seeing competitive games each and every week as Van Arsdale is turned away. And the South will try to clear it as they trail 14-3 here in quarter number 4. You're watching the Arizona Lacrosse League 2017 All-Star Game on APN Sports. Good look here. That's a grandma goal outside the cage. Joe Cataneo out of Glendale, honorable mention goalie for the North All-Stars, with the save that time. And then Jake Smith loses it on the far side. And this should be South possession here. We're in a continuous running clock here in quarter number 4. About 8 minutes left to play. Here's a big right hand, and Cataneo turns him away. Joe Cataneo for the Glendale Vipers. Bill Casey, the head coach. Stanton Good job on the ground ball. Actually, that's Traxler. And get it over to Grant Lofton, who had a big season for the Arcadia Titans. Look at James Traxler, had a big season this year for the state champion Notre Dame Saints. 14-3 the score. Here's a turnover. Good job over there by Cameron Noble to get out of the way of that one, the Mountain Point goalie. And now the North will try to add on to a 14-3 lead. We're in quarter number 4. Will Lynch does a nice job clearing this one. Over to Blake Story. Story loses it. He's got the long stick midfielder on him. And it was a great year for a couple of Grant Hushik and Ryan Poteet, who actually got the start here today. Tried to go up with a leaping shot, Blake Story, and he goes to the ground, and well, he's going to be helped up by Marcus Fostick as the South brings it down into the offensive half on the other end of the field. And Cataneo, a good job, cat-like reflexes, comes up with it, wants to clear it, sends it up ahead, and here comes the South. Cade Bluen, one of the top players in the state, over to Lofkin, and that was a weak shot, soft shot there, and that was corralled pretty easily there. Now the South trying to cut into an 11-goal lead here. On this Saturday morning, the Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star game on this May 12th. Cade Bluen with another clear, and he'll try to rifle one into the cage. And Cameron Noble lost his balance, and he got gobbled up by the cage. This one catches some Pipe City. And it comes all the way out. It will be out of play, and the possession will belong to the South. South trailing it 14-3. 5.5 minutes left to go here in regulation time. We got a running clock. South in the red. Nate Moultrie out of South Point, honorable mention this year, honorable mention player. At attack, and now the left-handed shot, and that's no good. And is that Elijah Owens over there? I believe it was. Some players, some players are wearing the same number, and sometimes these helmets are the only way you can really determine who's who. And so hopefully I haven't messed up too many times on today's broadcast. And again, special thanks to the Arizona Lacrosse League, Dan Lannon, for allowing us to be a part of the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League season again this year. Well, this one's intercepted at midfield, and here comes the North, and they turn it over. And we're down to about 4.5 minutes left to go here in regulation. Big shot. McNeil finds the promised land for the 4th time. I'll tell you, he's had a fine game, and he made that one look easy. Actually, there is 5:33 left to go. There was a little glare on that on the scoreboard from our vantage point, so it's actually 5:33. I think I said we had about 4.5 minutes left to go. That makes it 15-3 in favor of the North. I think the scoreboard missed one. As you're watching the best of the best here in the state of Arizona in this 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star game. Well, the North got out to a hot start. They led 6-1 at the end of one. They had a 10-3 lead going into the third quarter. And now enjoy a 12-goal lead, their largest of the day. And they've scored again. Well, the scoring just continues. Jacob Shripsema out of Pinnacle. And I'll tell you, I think this young man is going to have a monster season next year. He is truly one of the top. I think he might be one of the top. He is. He's one of the top 5 offensive players in the state. So he makes it a 16-3 contest. Well, both teams showing good effort out here. Elijah Owens and Elijah Owen out of Gilbert Tigers was on that state championship game 2 seasons ago. Now Luke LeBate to try to clear it from the Chaparral Firebirds. He has it dislodged, and this is a scoring opportunity, and the wraparound shot is good. Parker Arentz out of the Desert Vista Thunder. He had been on that state championship final team a year ago, and we're down to 2.5 left to play here. So it's now 16-4. And we got 2 minutes left to play here in regulation. 16-4, North has it. They have the lead, they have the ball. Grant Lofton, the senior from the host team, the Arcadia Titans, tried to get the pass in front of the crease area, and now Fosdick comes up with it. He tried to clear it. It's broken up. Alex Lesher still in there for the Brophy Broncos. He has scored 3. Brophy has 7 goals in this game between Lesher and the 4 by McNeil, both representing the Broncos, but he misses the shot that time. That was Trey Bussler. Good job there. So after the pause in play and a loose ball out towards midfield, over and back is going to be the call here as we wind down the 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game. Big shot, and that's a save. And another save by Corona del Sol's Ryan Henshaw. We're inside a minute. Fosdick will clear it, or rather Bussler will clear it out. Trey Bussler. Picked up there by Luke LeBate. Still battling and dislodges the ball. Quinn Stanton, who was second in the state this season in ground balls, second to Max Manka of South Point, and who had a big season, was named team most valuable player. Even with the big offensive numbers that James Traxler and Will Lynch had, it was Stanton in the end, getting the team most valuable player. And that is the end of regulation. The zeros are on the board. 16-4 is our final score. Thank you so much for joining us for our 2017 Arizona Lacrosse League All-Star Game coverage. And again, special thanks to everyone who made this a special year for us here at APN Sports. So, for our entire crew, this is Jeff Lowry. Again, thank you, thank you, thank you, and we'll see you next time.